Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Yashodanandana Brajadana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajadana Ranjana Damona Tira Vanasari Yamuna Tira Vanasari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Yashodanandana Brajadana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajadana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanasari Jamuna Tira Vanasari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Jaya Radha Madhav Radha Madhav Radhe Jaya Radha Madhav Radha Madhav Radhe Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Gaura Pimanandi Jayam Vishupad Paramahamsa Pri Vrajagacharya Stotra Satta Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Shirabai Charanarvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Sri Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Skandi Biti Founder Charyas Divine Grace Sri Prabhupada Ki Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Samavata Bhakti Vrinda Ki Harinama Sankirtan Ki Grantaraj Mad Bhagavatam Ki Dainitai Gauda Pimanande all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and to Sri Gauranga, all glories to Sri Prabhupada Ki. I just noticed that Tulasi Priya Prabhu doesn't have a Sika. You have Sika? You haven't? Yes. Then? Barber's fault. Devotee means you have Sika. Unless you are in a very unusual situation. In India, it's not, yeah. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Taksuranmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaisnavam Sya Sri Rupam Sagradatam Sahagana Ragunatan Vitam Tvam Sadivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakanditam Scha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Taptakansana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamame Hari Priye Vansakalpa Tarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Vyaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Narayanam namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a very means of conquest, let us first offer our respectful obeisances unto Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Narayana Rishi, the supremmost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta Prayesabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tamashloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. By regularly hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering a service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome within the heart becomes destroyed practically to nil, and the loving devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, it becomes established as an irrevocable fact. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahmasamitam Uttama Shloka Charitam Chakara Bhagavan Rishi Nisreyasaya Lokasya Dhanyam Swasyayanam Mahat. This Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Grantaraj, the king of all Vedic literatures, is the literary incarnation of God. It is compiled by the incarnation of God, as Srila Vyasadeva. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people. It is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Sarabhyai Namaha. Om Sarabhyai Namaha. Om Sarabhyai Namaha. Mukham karoti vasalam pangum langayate girim. Yat kripat maham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam. Yat kripat maham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam. Hare Krishna. Welcome to our Srimad Bhagavatam class. Before going to our text today, we can keep in mind some prayers, or offer prayers actually for our devotees in our Sharanagati village that is in Western Canada. We have between 30 and 40 families and maybe 50 homes, 50 homestead, and they all had to be evacuated yesterday, day before yesterday, because of forest fire. Every year in Canada, especially in Western Canada, British Columbia, where there are huge forests that go on for miles and miles, hundreds of miles, there's always fires in the summertime, forest fires. And there's about 250 forest fires burning now, many of which are not under control, I mean, cannot be stopped. So when a forest fire comes, it comes and doesn't stop. And the wind may change anytime, it can go in different directions. So we don't have any information right now, but I did get a short message yesterday that there may be 10 of the homes have been destroyed. We'll find out probably within the next few days. Anyway, that's the nature of the material world. Padam, padam. Every step there is danger. So, anyways, you can offer some prayers for the. Everyone is safe. Everyone was evacuated in time, but we'll have to see. And now it's like critical time also because many of the devotees have gardens. So if one does not look after one's garden by giving water, by taking out the weeds rather, then you will not get food. Right? So anyways, let's see what will happen. Meantime, we continue in our practices of devotional service, and our practice now is to hear from Srimad Bhagavatam. So yesterday we read number 18, I believe. Canto number 1, chapter 8, entitled Prayers by Queen Kunti. Today we read 17. Today is 18, beginning, which actually begins the prayers offered by Queen Kunti. And those prayers are famous prayers, as we know. They go on for quite a few, quite some time actually, yes. In any event, yes, on and on. Yes, up to 44, from 18 to 44. From 18 to 44, how many? How many verses? 27. No.
1 month, mostly 1 month it will take.
From 18 to 44. 18 to 20. It's like, 20, 26, 27. Kunti uvacha. Namasye Purusham Tvadyam Ishwaram Prakritehe Param Alaksyam Sarva Bhutanam Antar Bahir Avastitam. Kunti uvacha Namasye Purusham Tvadyam Ishwaram Prakrite Param Alaksyam Sarvabhutanam. Hey, put this. Antarbahiravastitam.
Antarbahiravastitam.
Kunti uvacha.
Kunti uvacha.
Namasye purusham tvadyam.
Namaste purusham tvadyam.
Ishvaram prakrite param.
Ishvaram prakrute param.
Alaksham sarvabhutanam.
Alaksham sarvabhutanam.
Antarbahir avastitam.
Antarbahiravastitam.
Kunti uvacha.
Kunti uvacha.
Namasye purusham tvadyam.
Namaste purusham tvadyam.
Ishvaram prakrite param.
Ishvaram prakrute param.
Alaksham sarvabhutanam.
Alaksham sarvabhutanam.
Antarbahiravastitam.
Antarbahiravastitam. Kunti uvacha.
Kunti uvacha.
Namaste purusham tvadyam.
Namasye purusham tvadyam.
Ishvaram prakrute param.
Ishvaram prakrite param.
Alaksham sarvabhutanam.
Alaksham sarvabhutanam.
Antarbahiravastitam. Antarbahiravastitam. Kunti uvacha.
Kunti uvacha.
Namasye purusham tvadyam.
Namasye purusham tvadyam.
Ishvaram prakrute param.
Ishvaram prakrite param.
Alaksham sarvabhutanam.
Alaksham sarvabhutanam.
Antarbahiravastitam.
Antarbahiravastitam.
Kunti uvacha.
Kunti uvacha.
Namasye purusham tvadyam.
Namasye purusham tvadyam.
Ishvaram prakrute param.
Ishvaram prakrite param.
Alaksham sarvabhutanam.
Alaksham sarvabhutanam.
Antarbahiravastitam.
Antarbahiravastitam. Kunti uvacha.
Kunti uvacha.
Srimati Kunti said,
Srimati Kunti said,
Namasye,
Namaste.
let me bow down.
Let me bow down.
Purusham,
Purusham,
the Supreme Person.
the Supreme Person.
Tva,
Tva,
you.
you.
Adyam,
Adyam,
the original.
the original.
Ishvaram,
Ishvaram,
the controller.
the controller.
Prakritehe,
Prakrite
of the material cosmos.
of the material cosmos.
Param,
Param,
beyond.
beyond.
Alakshyam,
Alaksham,
the invisible.
the invisible.
Sarva,
Sarva,
all.
all.
Bhutanam,
Bhutanam,
of living beings.
of living beings.
Antaha,
Antaha,
within.
within.
Bahihi,
Bahihi,
without.
without.
Avastitam,
Avastitam,
existing.
existing.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
Srimati Kunti said, O Krishna, I offer my obeisances unto you because you are the original personality and are unaffected by the qualities of the material world. You are existing both within and without everything, yet you are invisible to all. Kindly repeat after me. Srimati Kunti said,
Srimati Kunti said,
O Krishna,
O Krishna,
I offer my obeisances unto you
I offer my obeisances unto you
because you are the original personality
because you are the original personality
and are unaffected
and am unaffected
by the qualities of the material world.
by the qualities of material world.
You are existing
You are existing
both within
both within
and without everything,
and without everything.
yet you are invisible
Yet you are invisible
to all.
to all.
Purport. Srimati Kunti Devi was quite aware that Krishna is the original personality of Godhead, although he was playing the part of her nephew. Such An enlightened lady could not commit a mistake by offering obeisances unto her nephew. Nephews offer obeisances to their aunts and elders. Therefore, she addressed him as the original Purusha, beyond the material cosmos. Although all living entities are also transcendental, they are neither original nor infallible. The living entities are apt to fall down under the clutches of material nature. But the Lord is never like that. In the Vedas, therefore, he is described as the chief among all living entities. Nityo Nityanam Chaitanas Chaitananam. Then again, he is addressed as Ishvara, or the controller. The living entities, or the demigods, like Chandra and Surya, are also to some extent Ishvara, but none of them is the supreme Ishvara, or the ultimate controller. He is the Parameshvara, or the super soul. He is both within and without. Although he was present before Srimati Kunti as her nephew, he was also within her and everyone else. In the Bhagavad Gita 15:15, the Lord says, I am situated in everyone's heart, and only due to me one remembers, forgets, and is cognizant, etc. Through all the Vedas, I am to be known because I am the compiler of the Vedas, and I am the teacher of the Vedanta. Sarvasya saham ridi sanidisto mata smitir gyanam apohanam cha Vedaista sarvair aham eva vedyo Vedanta krit vedavid eva saham. Queen Kunti affirms that the Lord, although both within and without all living beings, is still invisible. The Lord is, so to speak, a puzzle for the common man. Queen Kunti experienced personally that Lord Krishna was present before her, yet he entered within the womb of Uttara to save her embryo from the attack of Ashwatthama's Brahmastra. Kunti herself was puzzled about whether Sri Krishna is all pervasive or localized. In fact, he is both. But he reserves the right of not being exposed to persons who are not surrendered souls. This checking curtain is called the Maya energy of the Supreme Lord, and it controls the limited vision of the rebellious soul. It is explained as follows, which will be the next verse tomorrow. Translation again. Srimati Kunti said, is the first prayer in this series of some 27 statements that will be made, offerings by Queen Kunti. O Krishna, I offer my obeisances unto you because you are the original personality. and are unaffected by the qualities of the material world. You are existing both within and without everything, yet you are invisible to all. So Queen Kunti is, as we know, a very, especially we come to know by these prayers, actually, uh, how elevated a personality uh, Queen Kunti, uh, being the mother of such elevated personalities, the Pandavas. Uh, mm, she is, uh, yeah, beginning to offer her, we could say, heartfelt prayers. Mm. There's different ways of offering prayers. We can just read prayers from a book, which is uh, generally every day we do that. With if we attend Mangalarti and attend other temple programs, Gaurarati. These are actually heartfelt prayers composed by different devotees. And because they are very special, very deep in feeling, and deep also in philosophy, we will see here actually how in expressing herself to Lord Krishna. Mm, and one of the points being made, of course, is that Krishna is her nephew, but she is understanding that he's not just my nephew. He is actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. And the very fact that she will be expressing herself for many, many verses, I mean, 27 different statements coming up until text 44, indicates that she has many wonderful uh, realizations about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Uh, she has many wonderful realizations about Krishna being that Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is sitting within the heart of all living entities, uh, and who cannot be understood, who cannot be appreciated by common, ordinary people, who also cannot be appreciated so easily by common, ordinary devotees. All the devotees never common and ordinary, but there are different different levels of consciousness. The more one is purified in consciousness, then the more one is able to understand the nature and the position and the workings of the Supreme Lord. That the Lord is seated not only in the hearts of all living entities, but we know that He is all pervasive, as described in the Bhagavatam. He's within every atom. And He is directing the wanderings of all uh, living entities. He is the, this is part of what we were discussing the other day. He is the Param Tattva. He is the original personality of Godhead. Uh, Although everyone in the material world, just like when somebody marries, he becomes a father. So he's like a little Ishvara, but very little, very small. Uh, or somebody becomes a prime minister, you know, president of a country. He's also some kind of Ishvara. But no one in the material world is the supreme Ishvara, the Parameshvara, as Krishna is described. Uh, and even when Krishna is in front of us, every day actually he's in front of us on the altar. He was in front of hundreds and thousands of people when he performed his Leela 5,000 years ago. Prabhupada explains only a handful. Although people were seeing that person, Krishna, but no one actually could understand. Avazanantimam buddha manushim tanumasritam param bhavam ajananto mama. Yeah, what is that verse? That common ordinary people consider Krishna to be ordinary persons like them. They are unaware of his parambhava, his transcendental nature. And it is only when we begin to understand that personality, Krishna, and understand his omnipresence and his omniscience, because he is present everywhere as Super Soul. Therefore, he is cognizant. He knows everything. He knows everyone. So when we develop, as it will be nicely demonstrated in these prayers of Queen Kunti, then there's no other option but to surrender. Because why is it that we're not fully surrendered? Because we don't understand what is being said here, isn't it? We don't actually understand. We don't believe. In the early days, actually, Prabhupada, one time he asked the devotees, do you really believe that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? You believe that Krishna is God? Prabhupada. We believe, but we don't believe, isn't it? We theoretically have something understanding, some little understanding, but actually our understanding is very little. So that's why Narada Muni, in speaking to Yudhishthira Maharaj, in one of many wonderful statements that he makes, he is stressing or pointing out how one of the very important qualities of a devotee, smritam cha tadvidam rajan, yena chadma prasidati. Smriti. Smriti means to remember, isn't it? Advanced devotee is someone who is constantly remembering his duty, his primary responsibility, and who is therefore alert to doing things properly. Means more conscious. That means Krishna conscious. That is our goal and objective, to be highly elevated, to become highly elevated, highly situated in such consciousness. our Acharya described, isn't it, different levels of consciousness, beginning with Anamaya consciousness, then Pranamaya, then Jnanamaya, Vijnanamaya, and what's the last one?
Astikyam.
Huh?
Astikyam. Anandam.
Anandamaya. Yes, because ultimately everyone is looking for this Ananda, happiness. But in a very futile and unsatisfactory manner are simply running after the water in the desert. The illusion, Maya is mentioned here in the purport. Everyone is allured by the illusory energy of Maya. And unless one becomes very fixed in consciousness, that energy of Maya is, because it is Krishna's energy, although material in nature, um, it is Krishna's energy, therefore extremely powerful. So this is the level of consciousness of Queen Kunti, that she is beginning her prayers by offering her obeisances, by bowing down before the Lord. And we've seen this in previous chapters as well, when Arjuna was in difficulty, or when Uttara was in difficulty, they offered some prayers to Krishna. Means taking on a very humble position, which is the opposite generally of the common people in the material world, who are blinded actually by their ahankar, false ego, isn't it? So only those who actually understand their very precarious nature, precarious position in this material world, isn't it? At any moment, a forest fire can come down our valley and force us to leave our homes, not knowing whether when we come back, our home will be there. Home, home sweet home. Ultimately, everyone's home sweet home will be destroyed sooner or later. This body is like our home, but it's temporary and it's not our real home. So Krishna is that original personality, and the whole teachings of Vedic knowledge, which is based on what we call Sanatana Dharma, is to bring us back to our original position, our original consciousness, ultimately our original home in Goloka, which is never vanquished, which will never be destroyed by any forest fire. So this is the beginning of Queen Kunti's prayers, and Prabhupada mentions at the end here how Prabhupada is very expert in expressing thoughts and ideas, basically in presenting the philosophy. When he makes the following statement, this checking curtain, some people come in. Is there? Okay. This checking curtain is called the Maya energy of the Supreme Lord, and it controls the limited vision of the real of the rebellious soul. Hare Krishna. So we are all rebellious souls in this material world. And this checking curtain of Maya is affecting both devotees and non-devotees. These are the two influences of Maya. I don't know the Sanskrit term. One is called the covering potency of Maya. Prabhu? Yes. The covering potency of Maya simply fully, completely covers the conditioned soul. That's why that name is there, conditioned. Conditioned and totally, just like somebody whose vision is impaired, either because of cataract or whatever, cannot see. Although the eyes are open but cannot see. That is a covering potency of Maya, which is practically covering 99% of the population. And those who are fortunate to come in contact with this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, those who are fortunate to come in contact with devotees, those who are fortunate to attend Bhagavad Gita class, Srimad Bhagavatam class, um, the influence of Maya works in a different way. It's called the throwing potency. It's like on a, let's say, a very windy day. It is a little bit windy, but sometimes wind is very strong. You're walking, and then you'll be pushed. Very strong wind. So Maya is always present in the material world, and even if someone takes up to the process of devotional service, when one is not cautious, just like Prabhupada, he would explain that spiritual life is like a razor's edge. Nowadays, of course, they have electric machines, but traditionally, people would not shave themselves. Men, they would go to the barber. Actually, they would not even go to the barber. The barber would come to them. Yeah. One of my godbrothers who came to India even before devotees came to India, before Prabhupada came back to India, he was in the Peace Corps. It's a kind of voluntary organization founded in America, the US, that send young people voluntarily to help in different countries, especially those countries that need help, maybe medically or in different ways. So he had come to India, and then he was relating his experience, because he went to the villages especially, and he was telling that one day, one person, he came, and everyone in the village, like the men, that day they all got shaved up. And and he also, although he was not a member of the village, but he also, and it was free. He said, I didn't have to pay, because that was the old system, that different people in the community, in the village, have their particular seva or work. And so the barber, he just shaves up everyone, and in return they give him like rice and whatever like that. It's not that because the one extra person who's a foreigner, that he's already getting what he needs, so he just does his service. So yes, so spiritual life, if we are not attentive, because in those days blades were very, it was that one blade, which if the barber was not attentive, he would cut you. So it means that actually, even as devotees, in many ways, especially due to having uh, a lot more knowledge than, let's say, non-devotees. Non-devotees are totally uh, blind, are totally without knowledge, generally, spiritual knowledge at least. But because devotees do have knowledge, then it becomes even more serious. Because we have knowledge, and if we are not attentive, then Maya will be acting there also. Mm. By maybe it may be very temporary, but we may uh, lose our balance. We may get off track, actually. And this is what happened to Jamil, isn't it? He was born in a Brahmana family. He was trained as a young boy, went to Gurukula, the Brahmana family. Brahmana family means one goes to Gurukul to receive special training and education. He was married also as a young man, but because he was not sufficiently attentive, he allowed himself to be allured by a prostitute. And for the rest of his life, practically speaking, he engaged in all kinds of adharmic, sinful activities. Mm. So this chapter, prayers by Queen Kunti, we will see in the various uh, offerings that or prayers that she is making. Her level of understanding, her level of appreciation, and her level of consciousness, obviously, as a very surrendered, not only just pious, obviously that is there, but beyond being pious, she was fully, completely devotional. And although the aunt of Krishna, um, she takes on this very humble position by offering her obeisances to him and glorifying him as being the Supreme Lord. So I'll just read again the verse, and then we can have some short discussion, or if there's any question. So this is the verse we have read today, text number 18 from Canto 1, Chapter 8, Prayers by Queen Kunti. Srimati Kunti said, O Krishna, I offer my obeisances unto you, because you are the original personality and are unaffected by the qualities of the material world. You are existing both within and without everything, yet you are invisible to all. So that's the point we were making. Even when Krishna was we say physically present, when he was walking the earth 5,000 years ago, he was visible to all, but yet not visible. Not visible means people did not actually understand who Krishna was. So any thoughts or comments on this? Yes.
So you mentioned that Krishna was present and was walking here and there also
Yes.
most of the time on a chariot, but still many persons saw him and very few become Krishna conscious. But the same Krishna was walking in the same earth, and many become Krishna conscious. And Lord Chaitanya was, Krishna was coming. So what is the difference? Why the same person looks like the same? Krishna is more beautiful than in one sense more decorated than
Lord
not more
Chaitanya was
beautiful.
very beautiful.
Hare Krishna. Don't kick me out. Bad will see.
Careful, we're in Nadia.
Yeah, I know.
Any Bengalis
Yeah,
here?
anyways, looks very beautiful and looks like really a god, you know, shining. And then, what is the difference? Why people become Krishna consciousness to seeing a sannyasi who is very beautiful?
Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishnaya Chaitanya Namne Goratvise Namaha. It's explained how Lord Chaitanya and his method or process, which was to very liberally distribute the highest level of consciousness, means pure love of Krishna. That very verse is explaining how Lord Chaitanya was or is, still is, not just was, still is more merciful than any other incarnation, more merciful than Krishna.
I understand that, but the same Lord Chaitanya here in Navadvip for many years,
Yes,
still Navadvip remained atheistic, materialistic place. He have to send Lord Nityananda
yes.
to make them devotees.
He
So the
had not,
same person
same person, but he had not taken
and
sannyas.
not, yeah, before he took sannyas, still
No.
there was no effect. Why?
There was no?
He was here.
Yeah, he was here.
He was the supreme person.
Yes.
Many persons saw him,
But
and
there's,
still no one.
yes, but there's what we call manifest and unmanifest.
Yeah.
Lord Chaitanya, as we know, before he received Diksha from Ishwarapuri, he was seemingly ordinary. But then a whole transformation took place, isn't it? He wasn't, when he came back, he wasn't the same person. I mean, he was the same, Lord Chaitanya, but he became manifest. His mission started to become manifest and became fully manifest, of course, because that's shortly after that. That's when Lord Chaitanya, because no one could really understand or appreciate the transformation that had taken place, right? His students were telling him, yeah, why you're talking like this, you know, and they started to criticize and so many things. And that's when Lord Chaitanya, that's part of the whole Leela and pastime, decided to take sannyas. Because in the Vedic culture, if somebody has a stick, I guess in any culture, if somebody has a stick,
More respected.
you're more attentive, yeah, right. So if one has a danda in Vedic culture, sannyas order of life is respected. So, and then of course, because Lord Chaitanya was like by destiny meant to be in Jagannath Puri, so therefore he sent, yeah, his foremost commander, his foremost chief personality, Nityananda, to actually preach in Bengal, which was one of the most difficult places, and in many ways still is, you know, to preach, yeah, Krishna consciousness.
So it looks like Krishna using some other tool or weapon to show his mercy, like devotees. So when there are devotees who ask Krishna to show the mercy, then Krishna shows more mercy.
Yes.
So in kind of it's depend on his devotees.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, that verse is in the Bhagavad Gita. Ye etamam prapadanti tam sataiva bhajami aham. As one surrenders to me, then I reciprocate accordingly. So yes, when we make appeal or offer prayers to Krishna or have an intense desire to become his devotee, to serve him, then Krishna makes different arrangement, reciprocates more with his devotee.
And another point is that a few days before, you spoke about the nature of woman
Yes,
who supposed to be very shy,
yes,
and Kunti Devi is like that, but still here it looks like she just behaves differently because it's not that kind of prayers in public in everyone else. It's not like a natural explanation, natural way of how we. Okay, Krishna, you leave. I'm sad. Maybe in a some place I can offer my prayers for you, but not in public. So what made Kunti Devi seemingly, very, you know,
yes.
not considering the social?
Because of the intensity of the moment,
Mm,
sometimes we forget our surrounding. You know, it was a very intense moment for everyone, actually, for the Pandavas and others, and you know, Queen Kunti being just like Krishna is described as being the original personality of Godhead. Uh, Devotees on that high level of realization, high level of consciousness that Queen Kunti was situated, they become just so spontaneous.
mm,
And normally, but what you say is correct. Yeah, normally one would not just go on
yeah,
like that. Especially these are very, very deep and profound and personal prayers that she's offering to him. But they're all family members also. That's it's like that's another
that's why
aspect.
you will see that so intimate
Very intimate,
visions she shared that is not
not ordinary.
common.
Yeah. So the Lord is extraordinary, and sometimes his devotees also become extraordinary in meeting different situations.
It's a one kind of separation when
Yes,
person is still present, but
and
looks like very soon will leave. Like
yes,
Krishna went to Mathura.
yes,
Before that, it was the same
yeah, yeah,
crazy.
yes. Everyone was holding on the chariot, trying to stop Krishna from going. You can't go. You can't go.
Yeah,
Right, right.
same.
Yes. Mm. Shivananda Sen is hiding behind everyone. Huh? Where is everyone coming from? From Barasat. Okay. Yes, yes. He came yesterday. Huh? From Uttama Shlok. Oh, okay. Yes. Okay, we can close for now. Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki. Gauda Premanande. Hare Krishna.